Yo. If you don't know, you better find out, man. You know who it is. It's your boy Dre from the DZN Podcast, man. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing fine? In the morning, noon, and night, whatever time you're listening to this, I hope y'all doing all good and all right. And of course, before we get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and find us anywhere on all podcasting platforms so we can grow. And as you know, we are D.Z.N. Podcast on Instagram, DZN Podcast on Twitter, DZN Podcast on Facebook, DZN Podcast Network on YouTube, DZN Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasting listening into or at. Now, my name is Dre, RETROD.R.E on Instagram, Retro Dre _ on Twitter, and yeah. That is me. And of course, we got Zoe on the podcast as well. Young _ Pluto 08 and Nas NV.Z _. Now, let's get started with the show. I got a little quick episode for y'all today. And as y'all know, we about to get started with this music, man. So hold tight. Get your feet and hands inside the ride at all times and enjoy the show that we got for you today. All right? My name is Dre. Let's get it. No, I don't. It's the DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. Intro on your ass. It's the DZN Podcast. Yes. It's the DZN Podcast. Intro for your ass. 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 Hey, listen. It's the DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. Doing this at 12 in the morning. Almost 1 o'clock in the morning. It's the DZN Podcast. Intro for your ass. Talking about podcasts every day. Talking about it all night, every morning, every day. And we're trying to get on some topics today. And we're going to mix this and match today. And you know it's Drake on the DZN. RETROD.R.E. You know where I'm at. All social media platforms. Yeah. It's the DZN Podcast. Intro for your ass. 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 DZN Podcast. It's the DZN Podcast. Hey. It's the DZN Podcast. Intro for your ass. It's the DZN Podcast. Yeah. Everybody gotta eat, but everybody can't eat, so that's the end of this week. About to go to the next, figuring out what we about to do for this. Figure out what's going on in life, right? Figure out what we about to go do, right? I don't know, but I do know this and that is gonna be on my next plan this one day. I'ma try to get me a building, try to make a plan that maybe millions of billions. Try to make me plan this what I'm about to do. Film a video and get the bread from it too. Make some music too, and get the bread from that also too. It's a DZN Podcast. Intro for your ass. 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 Yes. Oh, my voice cracked. Y'all heard that. Yes, it is I. My name is Dre. How you doing? Y'all good? Y'all happy? Sad in between? I get it. But today I got a few topics. Just a few. First of all, I kind of want to get started with this. To start off the podcast is kind of, I might have addressed this before, but kind of just reiterate a little bit. What are we building / creating in this moment today? We are in a very interesting time with this COVID stuff going on and everybody happens to be in the house. But everything happens for a reason. People change like the seasons. However, with this time we have, what are we trying to build and create for ourselves? Do you want to work that job you hate working every day, every night, or in between? Or you want to spend that energy you do at that job you hate into something you really want to do and you really want to create for yourself? Even though you may not own anything in this state of society today, you can at least get to the point where you want to be and earn your income and your own peace of mind, whatever that may mean to you. And there's a lot of stuff going on out here to prevent or maybe project that for your being as well. But just something to think about, because it's a lot you can do with the time that you have been provided. And yeah, it's the perfect time to start trying to do something, because next year is definitely not going to look like this year, and it's going to be changing for better or worse. I really don't know. That's an interesting question. But as far as getting something for you to really enjoy and promote and put for yourself and the people around you, it's the time to build and start creating this for real. Also, what are you doing with your time? Kind of the similar piggyback off the first question, but we all got a lot of time that we're spending alone, or everybody's getting back in the swing of things, so it's not as much time as it was about 4 months ago, but it's a lot of time that you have to think about what you're really trying to do. And I admit myself, I don't always spend that time doing what I should with the plans that I have for myself and my future. So I admit I need to do more myself to really put more time and effort into what I'm really trying to do. However, you have a lot of people that care about you, or some, depending on who you are and what you do. Just try to spend more time with them or reach out to them a little bit more and see what they're going through. You never know. They can use your helping hand or helping voice and to get them over that hump that they may not thought they could get over. So just call and contact some people you haven't touched in a while. But there may be a reason as well that you don't talk to certain people in your life anymore, and certain people aren't in your life anymore. And that's perfectly fine and perfectly okay. And it's perfectly understandable. Next, do people like death more than life? And I think I'm going to end on this because I have a lot more other questions to ask, but I'd rather ask those with guests. I ask this question because it seems like people celebrate or acknowledge death more than they do life. It seems like death gets more of the TV time and attention than actually trying to live your life for the best that you can live in. However, it may be a lot of things going on to prevent that. I get it. But how free is your mind to actually live your own life? And are you living your life with somebody else's life? Because a lot of things go on to prevent you from living your own life. But what are you going to do to actually live your life to be happy for yourself? Sounds like I'm talking in circles, but there's a reason I'm saying this. I've been coming across a lot of people that's been either asking me or just wondering, how do they do what they want to do in their life? And to answer that honestly, I don't know. I could say, hey, do what you love to do and do what's the best you think you can every single day. But some people don't know what they want to do, or it may be very difficult for them to find out what they want to do. And getting money isn't one of the things that makes them happy. So what can they do? To be honest with you, I don't know. And I don't know if I ever will know. But when I get asked that question in the future, I will respond with the best answers that I have. I'm not the one that is the holy person or deity, but I just have my thoughts. And that's pretty much it. But if you liked this episode, please remember to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and find us on all podcasting platforms. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and make sure you keep tuning into us, because we will keep dropping episodes every week for y'all. Because if y'all don't like us, you can move on. But if y'all love and enjoy us, we'll be here every week. Appreciate y'all for listening to the DZN Podcast. My name is Dre. And if you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at RETROD.R.E. And you can find Zoe at young_Pluto08 and Nas at NV.Z_. This is Dre from the DZN Podcast. In the morning, noon, or night, or whenever you're listening to this, I appreciate you, and we appreciate you. This is the end of the DZN Podcast. Peace.